Banks are using blockchain. Companies are using blockchain. Hospitals are using blockchain. Even the governments are adopting blockchain. The interesting thing is, what if I told you that they are not using a single blockchain? All of these institutions are not using a similar blockchain. If blockchain is one big company, one big technology, then why are there several types? Why don't we just use one blockchain to do everything we need? Why don't every institution use a similar blockchain and do everything they want? The answer is every blockchain is designed to answer very vital aspects. These six most vital aspects must be answered when it comes to each blockchain. So, what are these six most important aspects that must be answered by every blockchain? The first is privacy. Each blockchain is designed to answer privacy, to secure privacy. The second is transparency, speed, security, decentralization, and control. So, every blockchain must answer this particular aspect. And every blockchain is designed for a particular purpose. The misconception people get is thinking that blockchain, when they talk about blockchain, is all about Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is just operating on a public blockchain, and public blockchain is not the only type of blockchain. What about hospitals that are using blockchain to store patients' information? On a public blockchain, anyone can access the public blockchain, they can verify information. But on the if the hospital is protecting patients' medical records, should they expose those records on the blockchain for anyone to verify? Obviously, the answer is no. So you can see that the hospital might not need the public blockchain to store medical records where anyone can verify. So every blockchain tells us who can access information on this blockchain, who can join this blockchain, who can validate transactions on this blockchain. So every blockchain is designed with a specific purpose. Governments are using a different type of blockchain to store vital information. Informations that are classified cannot be stored on a public blockchain like the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is stored on the public blockchain. Everyone can verify transactions. Everyone can see transactions, except for the fact that vital informations are personal, like private keys. But when it comes to public verification of transactions, anyone can do it. So, in today's lesson, we are going to be exploring the different types of blockchain. There are 4 different types of blockchain, and we are going to be exploring and breaking them down so that everyone can understand, because understanding the types of blockchain is very vital so we can know how it is working, who can join on this type of blockchain, who can manage, who can validate, which of the blockchain can we use. Hello everyone, you are still welcome today. In today's lesson, we are going to be discussing on the types of blockchain. You know, at the MDB Crypto Academy, we make understanding cryptocurrency very easy for everyone to understand. That is why we are starting with the basics, and that is why we are trying to expatiate on blockchain so that everyone can understand the mechanism that powers cryptocurrencies. Everyone can understand what blockchain is all about, how is a cryptocurrency being managed, and how are transactions being managed. So, in today's lesson, we will uncover these four types of blockchains so that we can understand these four types of blockchain. So you stay with me, because at the end of this lesson, you will see the different types of blockchain and real life applications of these types of blockchain. Like I said, there are four of them. The public blockchain. So the first type of blockchain is the public blockchain. From the name public, we can all know that anyone can access this blockchain. On the public blockchain, anyone can join, anyone can create an account, anyone can verify transactions. You can download and verify transactions that has taken place. On a public blockchain, no one monitors it. No one controls the public blockchain. Information on the public blockchain is displayed public so that anyone can verify. Characteristics of a public blockchain is: first, anyone can join. Secondly, it is decentralized. Third, it is not controlled by anybody. Anyone can verify information on the public blockchain. An example of a public blockchain is the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is running on a public blockchain. Most cryptocurrencies are running on a public blockchain. So, what happens on the public blockchain is we can actually download information on the public blockchain. We can verify it. Nobody is controlling the public blockchain. No government, no banks, no central control. What happens on the public blockchain is interconnected computers. A group of thousands of computers come together and run what we call computer nodes. This computer node manages transactions on the public blockchain, and transactions are displayed so that anyone can see it. So those are the advantages. Advantages of public blockchain is it is also transparent. It is transparent. Since anyone can verify the transaction, it is transparent. It is secured. Nobody can modify transactions that has been recorded on that blockchain, because copies of it are sent to thousands other computers around the world that are validating these transactions. Fraudulent activities cannot take place on the public blockchain, because you need to convince thousands other computers to validate a fraudulent activity. Once one computer sends a negative signal, that transaction is cancelled. But despite the fact that it is secured, it is transparent, it is decentralized, anyone can participate on the public blockchain. Anyone can download information, anyone can share information, anyone can verify transactions on the public blockchain. It also has its disadvantages, because transactions tend to be slow. Since thousands of transactions are taking place, they tend to be slow. Transactions tend to be slow, and it has higher energy consumption. A lot of electricity is being consumed to run this node. Nodes are being run, so a lot of energy is needed to manage this node. Also, to a certain extent, security is not 100% guaranteed, because aside our private keys that cannot be accessed, information on the public blockchain can be accessed by anyone. Anyone can have access to it. read and see what has transpired on the public blockchain. So our first type of blockchain is the public blockchain. And in real life, let's consider a public blockchain like a supermarket where the doors are widely open. Anybody can enter into the supermarket, anybody can shop into the supermarket. No one is restricted. No one is restricted from entering into the supermarket. So public blockchain is very secured and is easier for anybody to access. Anybody can use it. Anybody can own an account on a public blockchain. The private blockchain. The private blockchain is the second type of blockchain we are going to be discussing about. From the name, you can already tell from the name private means it is controlled by an organization. Unlike the public blockchain that is not controlled by anybody, the private blockchain is controlled by an organization. Means this organization determines who can join this blockchain, who can see information on this blockchain, who can verify information, transactions on this blockchain. It is not open. Authorized people are allowed to participate on this blockchain. It is not like the blockchain, public blockchain, where anyone can see transactions on displayed on the blockchain. Anyone can verify them. Anyone can modify them. It is not like the public blockchain. The private blockchain, on a private blockchain, transactions are validated by selected individuals. Yeah. Take for example a live example, like there's a building where selected individuals only can enter, maybe with an access of a security badge before you can enter. So this is how private blockchain works. Information here is verified by selected individuals. There is a high level of security when it comes to private blockchain because only selected individuals manages this blockchain. Information here is run by a group of selected individuals. So energy consumption as well is slow. It's low because only few computers are needed to do validations. Only few computers are needed to validate transactions. And transactions are verified by those individuals only. We can also see that there's going to be a high level of transparency, there's high level of security and trust because this blockchain is managed by a group of selected individuals. The only disadvantage is that it's not decentralized because unlike the public blockchain, which is decentralized, the private blockchain is not decentralized. It's not accessible to everyone. Yeah, this organization, it determines who can join. And institutions that use private blockchain are, you have like the hospitals. Yeah, hospitals use private blockchains to protect patients' information, patients' medical records. Yeah, hospitals are using. The banks can also use to store transactions, customers' transactions, and save them in their servers, and they are managed by their personnel, trained personnel only. So you can see the difference between a private and a public blockchain already. One is permissionless. No one needs permission, which is a public blockchain. Why? In the private blockchain, you need permission. You cannot access it. No one can just get into the private blockchain and is accessing, is verifying transaction and note that validate transactions here are selected node as well. Computers that come together here to validate transactions are also selected computers. Unlike the public blockchain where Thousands of interconnected computers around the world are, are the ones validating transactions, are the one controlling, running transactions to make sure these transactions are legit. But there's also a disadvantage with private blockchain because if it's an organization only that is controlling this blockchain, there may be higher chances that these blockchains can be information at times may be compromised. But then on a blockchain, once transactions are already validated, a block is already been added on the blockchain, no one can modify it. No one can modify it on the blockchain. So maybe this information can be modified before transactions, but there's still high level of transparency because validation has to be done by selected individuals only. And only these few individuals can access this blockchain, can verify this information on this blockchain. Yeah. Consortium blockchain. So the consortium blockchain is the third type of blockchain. So unlike the private blockchain, which is owned by a single organization, the consortium blockchain is owned by a group of organizations, multiple group of organizations, like a multiple group of organizations comes together. They own this blockchain. On this blockchain, transactions are not verified by a particular organization. These both parties, this group of organization must come to an agreement before a transaction is being validated on the consortium blockchain. This also leads to privacy and transparency. This organization checks the transaction, validates the transaction, and sends to the next organization. The next organization also checks that transaction, and if the transaction is as validated by the first organization, the second organization validates the transaction now, and hence a block is added on the on the blockchain network. And once that block is added, it becomes a permanent part of that blockchain. So the consortium blockchain, an example is like in the cases of bank alliance, industries. Yeah, industries that can come together. They come together and the information on this blockchain cannot be determined by one party only. Information on this transaction on this blockchain must be validated by both parties. And of course, as we know, it has to do with fewer validators. When a blockchain has fewer validators, of course, transactions are going to be very fast. There's going to be transparency. There's going to be less consumption of energy, and there's also going to be privacy because only few individuals are allowed to validate these transactions. And in this case, validators has to come from both parties. Both organization has to agree. The disadvantage is if one party does not agree to a transaction, if one party doesn't agree, that transaction is definitely not going to take place because a consortium blockchain has to do with a group of organizations, multiple group of organizations coming together to run this blockchain and manage this blockchain. They validate transactions on this blockchain. They choose the type of information to be saved. They choose who can access information on this blockchain, who can manage this blockchain. So the consortium blockchain is different from the private blockchain because it has to do with multiple group of organizations coming together to validate transactions to run a blockchain. And I think a consortium blockchain is also very secured, especially to industries. It's a very good method to use. They use it to track their information. They use it to save information in such a way that not everyone can access this information because it is permissioned. You need permission before you can access information on the consortium blockchain. Hybrid blockchain. The hybrid blockchain is the last type of blockchain. The hybrid blockchain is simply a combination of features, features of the public and the private blockchain. So a hybrid blockchain combines feature of the public blockchain and the private blockchain. What are these features of public and private blockchain? On the public blockchain, you don't need permission. It is permissionless. Anyone can join. Anyone can validate transactions. Anyone can verify transactions on this blockchain. Why on the private blockchain? Only choosing individuals are allowed, selected individuals are allowed to validate transactions, to verify transactions on this blockchain. So the hybrid blockchain combines feature of the private and the public blockchain. Most often, the governments are the one using the hybrid type of blockchain because they decide which information should be visible to everyone, that everyone can access this information. Everyone can maybe download this information, verify, check this information. Then also decide which information should be kept in private, which information should be accessed by a few group of individuals only. Take for instance, let's say at the university, a result are published on the website. Anyone can access, anyone can see those results on the website or on the board. Anyone can see those results. But then examination papers are not displayed in public. Individuals are in possession of their examination marks. So only the results are displayed on the website. You see your result. But now, when it comes to your grades, everyone has to log into their personal student website to access their information, their marks, their yeah. So most often, the governments are the one using the hybrid blockchain because it combines information features of the public and the private blockchain. And of course, fewer validators are needed in this case because there are aspects where they need just a group of choosing individuals to validate certain transactions. And there are cases where they will just allow those transactions for anyone to which is connected, anyone who can access the internet to validate these transactions, can check these transactions. So hybrid computer is a broad hybrid blockchain rather are broader and they are very complex to build. So most often, these blockchain are used by governments instead. Which blockchain is the best? Obviously, that's the last answer, the last question everyone will want to ask. Which blockchain is the best? We like we discussed, no blockchain is better than another. Every blockchain is unique depending on its purpose, the purpose that blockchain is created for. Yeah, every blockchain is created for a purpose. We have spoken about 4 blockchains. Spoke about the public blockchain. If you need transparency, if you need complete transparency and decentralization, you go for a public blockchain. If you need maybe privacy and internal control, you go for private blockchain. If several organizations want to partner together, they are going to go for a consortium blockchain. And of course, if you need a combination of privacy and decency, you are going to privacy and efficiency, we are obviously going to go for a hybrid blockchain. So we can all see that every blockchain is created for a particular purpose, and no blockchain is better than another blockchain. Obviously, the blockchain we have been using, the most used blockchain is the public blockchain, because cryptocurrencies are running on a public blockchain. Cryptocurrencies like the Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of them are running on a public blockchain where we can verify transactions. Transactions here are validated by nodes, computer nodes, a group of interconnected computers that come together, and they are validating these transactions. Anyone, anywhere with an internet connection can access this information and verify these transactions to make sure to see how this transaction took place. So, no blockchain is better than another. We have spoken about four types of blockchains, and we have seen that each blockchain is unique and is created for a specific purpose. And each blockchain is created to solve this basic aspect we've mentioned earlier, which are privacy, transparency, speed, security, decentralization, and control. So each blockchain is built to tackle these aspects, and hence making blockchain to be considered as one of the greatest technological innovation of our time, because at certain point, every institution is using blockchain to protect information, to save information, to validate transactions. Yeah, so blockchain is applicable in every aspect in our life. It's just that we use blockchain without actually discovering that we are using blockchain. So I think after this lesson, you are going to understand what blockchain is all about. And I'm happy that maybe we have also solved that misconception of people thinking that way. We talk about blockchain is all about Bitcoin, blockchain is about the public blockchain. There's only a single type of blockchain. No, we are broken it down into four types so that everyone can understand. And I hope you enjoyed yourself on this one. And in our next lesson, we are going to be discussing on the consortium. We will discuss about consensus mechanism of the blockchain. That's going to be our next topic. In our next lesson, we are going to be discussing about the consensus mechanism of blockchain. We are going to see about proof of work, proof of stake. We are going to discuss into details. You will see how each blockchain at times functions when it comes to proof of work and proof of stake. We are going to understand all of this in our next lesson. So I I wish to see everyone there. And please, if you are enjoying our ride so far, if you are enjoying the lessons, please you should like, subscribe, share, invite others so that they can also join us in this journey of transforming a normal beginner to a pro in the forex industry, in the crypto industry, sorry. Because cryptocurrency is the next money. It is a financial revolution. Yeah. So we cannot miss it out. You cannot miss it out. So I am taking time to break it down for you to understand, so that when we get when we get to a point where we have to be doing practical transactions, you understand. You don't just do the transaction. When you do the transaction, you should understand what is actually transpiring behind that transaction. This is the main reason why I am teaching blockchain. I am expatiating on blockchain. I'm expatiating on blocks. I expatiated on blocks and expatiated on hashings. I expatiated on immutability. I expatiated on distributed networks, expatiated on reasons why blockchain cannot be hacked. All of this, I have uploaded videos on this channel. If this is your first time you are coming across my videos and you are maybe somehow lost, you don't know where to get the other videos, please refer back to this channel because every video is being posted here, and we are posting videos on this channel on daily basis. We are here to learn, and I'm here to make sure I give you what you can comprehend. And if you are having doubt, if there is we don't understand certain aspects, maybe I'm explaining and you don't get it, you should please drop comment at drop it at my comment section, your questions, because I will read, and in my next lesson I will make sure I answer your question in my subsequent lectures. So I will see you in the next one, and until then, you stay blessed.